Well, hello, ninth graders. Welcome to Legacy. I'm Mr. Semple, and I'm your U.S. government teacher here in the fall of 2020. Yes, also known as distance learning thanks to COVID-19. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then I want to get to know you. My name is Mr. Semple. I've worked here at Legacy for 16 years. I've lived in Colorado since I was in high school. After high school, I went on to college and I studied economics at Colgate University in upstate New York, and sort of in the middle of the state there. After college, I went and I lived in Japan for 4 years, where I learned to speak the language and to appreciate the culture. And I am the anime club sponsor here at Legacy. So if you are interested in Japanese culture or anime or language, then talk to me, shoot me an email, or check out our webpage. After that, I backpacked around the world for a year. I took a whole year off and threw what I needed into a backpack, started heading west and sort of on a budget shoestring, visited more than 30 countries and came back around. Got to know a lot of people, got to know a lot about the world on that trip. Came back to Boulder, Colorado, where I got my master's degree in education from CU. And I still live in Boulder. I'm married. I have two wonderful boys who are 14 and 5 years old. Well, that's a little bit about me, but I want to know a little bit more about you. The first assignment I'm going to give you is a Flipgrid assignment where you'll record a little bit about yourself and I'll get to know you. Let's talk about COVID and distance learning real quick. The earliest we would possibly come back into school would be around September 25th. And I understand there's going to be a school board meeting around September 11th where they are going to make a decision about that. But it's quite possible that we'll be remote learning for the whole semester. We don't have a vaccine to COVID-19 yet, so we'll keep an eye on current events to see what's going on, which might affect us directly about coming back into the building. I love following current events, by the way. I hope you like paying attention to the news. I love looking at memes and political cartoons that help me understand about what's going on in the world. And so if you like memes, then you can send some along, and current political cartoons as well. Here's one I found. You might have heard that Russia has claimed to have come up with a vaccine for COVID-19, which they are beginning to release and to inject people with. This first part of this meme, here shows Russian President Vladimir Putin announcing that they're the first country to develop it. The only problem is it hasn't really been tested on more than a handful of people, so we're not quite sure if it works or if it's dangerous or not. But he says, he let his own daughter try it with no side effects. There she is. So, she looks fine to me. Here's a political cartoon kind of on the same lines. We see Vladimir Putin there with his shirt off, as he often is in these cartoons. Has to do with a photo op that he did years ago where he's riding a horse without a shirt on. You've probably seen some of those memes. But here he is in a cartoon holding up the vaccine, declaring, yay, Russia is the first to provide that vaccine. But take a close look inside there. I don't know if I want to put that in my body. That's what social studies is. We're looking at the world. We're trying to figure out what's going on in it. We're trying to make connections around all of these complex things that are happening in society around us. And we do that by looking through these different social studies lenses. This year, you're going to look through the government and political science lens. How do we organize our society? How do we keep peace and create a country that we can all live in? Second semester, we look at economics, which is more about business and money and resources, jobs, but also personally about how do we make decisions as individuals that maximize our own benefits. History, of course, is the study of how we got to where we are today. What happened in the past that leads to where we are right now. And so in this class, of course, there's a little bit of history. You got to know things like, the historical context of how the Constitution was written, for instance. Geography is a great subject about the study of how we interact with the land and how the land affects us as well. If you live in Colorado, you know that I think people here have a special connection to geography. We have a wonderful geography here in the state with the mountains in the west and plains on the east and some rivers. And hopefully you enjoy that and that influences your life, but it also affects our entire Colorado society, our businesses and our jobs that are available are highly dependent on our geography, whether it's the ski industry or the oil and gas industry. Sociology is the study of groups and how people interact within a society with each other. And psychology is more the study of our own brains, our own minds, and why do we think the way that we do. I'm telling you all this because all of these classes are available at Legacy here for the next 4 years from the Social Studies Department. You see, we've got ninth grade here. You're going to be in U.S. government first semester and second semester economics with me. And those are required classes. Some of you might also have taken the elective AP Advanced Placement Human Geography, or you could try to sign up for that for next year as well. There's AP Government at the sophomore level. And in 10th grade, you're required to either take World History or Advanced World History. At the 11th grade, you're required to take U.S. history, either regular or AP. And that's the second half of U.S. history there, in case you're wondering what happened. At the end of 8th grade, they're like, there was the Civil War. Well, what happened after that? Stay tuned. You'll find out in 11th grade. We also have a lot of elective choices, a lot of those classes I was just mentioning. Sociology, psychology, and some AP versions of the classes I've mentioned. This World Issues class is a great one if you're interested in current events. Look for that when you are in your upper levels here at Legacy 11th and 12th grade. You have some good choices for social studies. Back here at the 9th grade level, we do what we call EGE. It's not just government and economics, but English and government and economics. So it's kind of an integrated learning model. Now, that would be really clear if we were in the building and you would see there's a big classroom with 60 students and 2 teachers in it and a double classroom. And that's because we have English and government together. And we'll continue to do this to the best of our ability here with the remote learning, but it'll definitely look a little bit different this year. The humanities are sometimes grouped together. That's what we call English and social studies versus what we call the sciences, biology and chemistry and things like that. So your English teacher and my English partner is Mr. Orr. You'll hear more from him on his Schoology and his website. But we combine these classes because the skills and the content overlap quite a lot. So for instance, I want you guys to be able to do research. I want you guys to be able to interpret difficult texts and challenge yourself in the way you think, to analyze things, and then to communicate that through writing and speaking. And these are the same skills that our English team wants you to be able to do. So we combine in order to help you learn those skills even better. There's some content overlap that you'll see too. Now, these are separate classes though, and they're separate in the grade book and they're separate credits, but we do meet, typically we meet at the same time. This year will be a little bit different. In the next video, I'm going to talk about what I think this class is going to look like this semester. I'll give you the details about the grade book so you understand how that works. I'll introduce the content, the stuff we're going to talk about. I'll tell you what I know about Florida Virtual School, that you'll be doing some assignments from them. I'll also intro the skills more specifically that we want you guys to have and the software platforms that we want you to be able to use. Also, we'll introduce our expectations. What do we expect you to be able to do here during remote learning? And I will also assign your first assignment. So stay tuned for that all in the next video. Thanks.